Greetings, fellow fans. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Mercy, and this is the Funny Pajamas YouTube channel. Now, welcome back again for once again another WandaVision review. This is for episode 5, and before we go any further, I clearly like to say that this is going to be spoiler heavy as mentioned in the title down below. So be aware, if you haven't watched this episode yet, you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it out and then come back and watch this video. And listen, while you're here, why don't you smash that like button, hit that beautiful subscribe button, become a subscriber to my channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time I post something new. Well, with that down and out of the way, let's get straight down to it. Now, last episode was pretty much an exposition episode. It gave us context, it gave us an idea was what's actually going on, as a brief idea of basically what's going on in the world of WandaVision, the sitcom world and outside the sitcom world. Now, I will say I'm glad that they are beginning to explore more, and this episode they cut between the world of the sitcom world and the world outside of Westview, the world inside Westview and the world outside of Westview, what's going on along with Sword, alongside what's going around inside Westview. So I thought that was pretty good, and I was glad that they did that. I don't know, they could have lost me if they had stuck too much to the sitcom, but I guess that part is over. Now we're getting into the real heavy stuff, and in this episode, shit hits the fan. This episode is pretty amazing. I'll tell you, one thing I have to say about WandaVision. Every episode seems to be a step above the previous episode. I loved last episode. It was my favorite of the previous episodes, of all the episodes so far. And I will say this episode is a step further up ahead. They seem to be that balance between sitcom and the MCU world and what's going on, or even better than. And I'm enjoying this show as much as I have got so far. I hope they keep it up, and I really hope the quality keeps on increasing in this particular trajectory that they seem to be following. Here's hoping. Okay, let's get down to it. For the first, now this episode, we start off with the babies. The twins have been born and they're crying, and we're in the 80s era right now, by the way. We start off straight away. I was kind of wondering, why haven't they started with the theme, the intro theme for this particular episode? But I didn't have to worry. That came along later. So they start off straight with the twins, and they're crying, and Wanda and Vision are trying to get them to keep quiet. They are working on very little sleep. So then, then just as it happens, Agnes seems to come in. Now, a lot of mystery seems to be going on around this Agnes character, played by Catherine Hahn. I have said in previous episodes, there are many theories going on that she's Agatha Harkness. But from this episode, it's all the more clear that she does seem to have a grasp or some idea of what's going on in this world, in this universe. And I do think she is a mystery character, an external factor, and I'm waiting to see how her role plays out in this show. So Agnes comes in, and then there's this weird awkward moment where she's like, where she stops and pauses, and she's like, you want me to take it from the top? And at that point we see that Wanda doesn't really have as much control as we thought she was having over this reality that she's created. Now just before that, Wanda decides, okay, I've not had sleep. Let's try to get the kids to sleep using my powers. But she's not able to control that. Once again, emphasizing the fact she's not got as much control, and maybe her grip is slipping. Maybe she's losing her control bit by bit as we see further on ahead. So when this awkward situation happens, Vision gets alerted, and he's sort of suspicious. And he calls Wanda aside and he tells her, did you see that? Sort of he questions her, and Wanda sort of just brushes it aside, says, no, you don't worry about that, sort of, she just brushes it aside and ignores it. And then we see, after a few, moments, we see that within a few seconds, the babies seem to have quieted down. When they look and see, the cribs are empty, and they're wondering what's happening. They turn around and see the two kids have grown up and have become 5-year-olds now. So as we can see further in this episode, the kids seem to be aging pretty fast. So Timmy and Billy both have aged to 5-year-olds, and it's then Agnes makes this, statement that, kids, you can never control them no matter how much. I'm just paraphrasing here, but she says, kids, we can't really control them. And then they move ahead. Now, cut to the scene, cut to outside Westview, and we are introduced once again to Monica Rambeau, played by Tiana Paris. Now, Monica Rambeau is having tests done and all that. She's just they're checking her to see whether it's all okay. And this is an interesting part. And then just as Agent Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis come in, the test results come and they're like, no, we got to take these tests again, because they look at all the x-rays and the scans and stuff and they're all blank. Now this, I'm guessing, is when Monica Rambeau was cast out of the world of Westview, out of WandaVision's world. That's when I am guessing she had something happen to her, and now I'm guessing this is going to lead into her becoming the superhero Photon. Now the character of Photon is Monica Rambeau in the comics, and we know she's going to come in Captain Marvel 2. So I'm guessing this is how she gets her powers, how she becomes like a real she gets her superpowers. And she's got powers like proton blasts and I believe shape-shifting and all. So these powers, I'm assuming this is this is her origin of her powers. So we don't get much into that, but we do get a glimpse that her scans, her blood tests and all seem to be showing awkward results, and the scans are totally blank. So anyway, they move forward and they go, these three, that is Monica Rambeau, Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis, they head on towards a briefing for SWORD. And it's at this point we find out that 9 days prior to that date, now you have to remember the timeline. This is about around a month and a week after the events of Endgame. So now Wanda was, she was snapped out during the blip, and at the end of Infinity War, she does get dusted along with half the population of the universe. And for her, this is like picking up immediately 1 month and 9 days after the events of Infinity War. So we see from the SWORD debriefing that about 9 days ago, Wanda breaks into a secret SWORD facility that is housing the body of Vision, and she steals this body. So now we know that the Vision, somehow she's managed to reanimate and bring him to life, and how she's doing it without the Mind Stone is a big question here. That just shows that her powers have received a major boost. And this is also further discussed further ahead in the episode. So the debriefing goes on, and we're introduced to Director Hayward. Now, when they first introduced this character, I thought, okay, they're going to, he's going to be different from the general, agent, government, bureaucratic types, sort of, the types that generally modeled after the Thunderbolt Ross character. So I thought definitely it'd be different, but in this episode, he seems to go back into the major government jerk, type of character, and he brands Wanda a terrorist. And Jimmy Woo is like, no, that's not what I meant. That's like oversimplifying it, sort of. And even Monica seems to, clash with him on this. She says, no, she's not a terrorist. I don't think she's trying to, destroy anything or prove to be a political threat, as on the level of a terrorist. But then Director Hayward just sort of throws it. You yourself said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that it was terrible being under her control. You felt helpless. You didn't like it. You felt so, helpless and unable to do anything, and it was a terrible experience. And at this, Monica Rambeau doesn't really have anything to say. Moving on ahead, the kids are back to the world of WandaVision. The kids are now 5 years old, and they seem to have brought in a stray puppy. Now this little dog, they want to keep it, and they're trying to get Wanda and Vision to agree to keep it. Now Wanda and Vision at first they're back and forth. Okay, no, we can't keep it. They try to explain to the kids, see, you're not old enough to take care of a pet. It's got a lot of responsibilities. You have to be, they just throw out a number around 10 to actually be able to have a pet and be able to be responsible enough to own a pet. So the kids just look at each other, and in the snap of a finger, they're 10 years old. And we see that they're rapidly aging. I'm having a guess that these twins, Timmy and Billy, in the comics, they grow up to be Speed and Wiccan. So I'm guessing in this show, they're going to play a pivotal role. Moving on ahead, Vision's like, okay. And just then at that point, Agnes walks in again with a little doghouse, and Vision's like, how does she always turn up exactly at the time when we seem to need something? And he once again pulls Wanda aside, and Wanda's like, no, 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 it's nothing like that. And then she uses her powers in front of Agnes. And Vision's like, how could you use, we decided that you would not show your powers to others. And she's like, she didn't even notice it. And even when the kids grew up from babies to 5-year-olds and then 10-year-olds, she didn't seem to notice at all. So we see that Wanda seems to be breaking her own rules, and kind of, she's becoming a little lackadaisical sort of. And she's like, even Vision, you don't have to hide anymore. And Vision's like, he's pretty miffed, and he sort of goes off to work. Cut back to Sword. Monica Rambeau, Boo and Darcy they're discussing what's going on inside WandaVision. And they're sort of like, okay, so the stuff that goes into Westview past the barrier seems to morphs to suit that time period. They find this out from Monica Rambeau's outfit in which she gets cast out. So they find out that, okay, the stuff is getting morphed to suit the era in which the sitcom is playing. So what if we sent in an item which was already belonging to that era? So they decide to send in a drone. Now Monica Rambeau is, she's controlling this drone, and she has no idea that this drone is armed. She just wants to talk to Wanda. So they send in the drone. Meanwhile, Wanda is talking to her kids, and the kids are like, where's dad? And Wanda is like, he's gone off to work. And they're like, it's Saturday. And then like this typical 80s sitcom where she tries to teach them more. Your father and I, we disagree, we disagree sometimes, but in the end we are family, and family is forever. That's when they hear some noise outside, and the dog starts barking. So they decide to go outside. The dog runs out, and Wanda and the two kids come outside. And then Wanda is faced with the drone. Now this drone, Monica Rambeau is trying to talk to her. She asks, Wanda, are you there? What are you trying to do? Sort of she tries to communicate with her, and Wanda gets mad. She gets pretty angry. You can see the deadly look she's got. And the director, he's armed this drone. He's had given orders to have it on. He says, fire the missile. So they fire a missile at Wanda, and Wanda just goes berserk. They cut to it, and they show her coming out of the barrier. And she's full in that Avengers outfit, the costume she wears when she was in Infinity War and Endgame. She's in that costume. She's no longer in the cutesy little 80s outfit, with the suspenders and all. She's no longer in that. She's in her standard Avengers outfit, and she's dragging the drones, and then she faces off with the director and Monica Rambeau. And the director's got all these soldiers with these guns pointed at her, and they have like a back and forth. And basically he says, why are you, why are you holding these thousands of people hostage? Why are you, holding them captive? And she's like, you're the one with guns, pointed at me. You're, the bad guys, sort of. In her mind, you see, the logic she's built up sort of doesn't really make sense at the moment. She's trying to work it out. And then Monica steps forward and says, see, you trusted me. You brought me, a sword agent, into your world, and on some level you trusted me to deliver your kids. I know you don't know that I don't mean harm, and I didn't know that the drone was armed. And then she's like, Wanda, what do you want? And Wanda's like, I already have everything I want. And she sits sort of, there's this little energy ball glow, and she uses her powers and mind controls all the soldiers, and they turn their guns on the director. And she just says, this is your last warning, don't interfere with me. And she walks off back into the into Westview, and back into her force field. So this is like, we see, she seems pretty much in control. At this point, she looks like she's in control. And there are lots of, I did state my theories in the last video, and I'm thinking maybe she's going to be the villain of this overall series, and maybe even be the villain of Doctor Strange 2. But that's just pure speculation on my part. We know she's going to turn up in Doctor Strange 2. I'm guessing she may be the main villain or one of the villains in Doctor Strange 2. Now we go back into the world of WandaVision, and they're looking for a little dog. The dog's name, they've named him Sparky. So they're looking for him. And as they pass by, the man passes by and tells the kids, don't worry, you'll find him, your mom will never let him get out, he sort of says that. And then once again we have a view that, Wanda is sort of controlling everything. And while this is going on, while they're searching for the dog, Vision's at his office place and he's setting up these new, at that time, their latest PCs. And he's introducing the company to them. So his colleague Norm is like, come, let's boot it up, let's check it out. And when they boot it up, when they start the PC, they receive an electronic mail. They seem to have intercepted an email. And they're like seeing it, and then all of a sudden, all the people in the office start reading, sort of robotically, like as if in a trance, like totally robotically, they read out the email, which is actually a missive that was sent to Sword, and it mentions the Maximov anomaly and stuff like that. And then Vision is like, what the hell is this? What's going on? He's like, he knows Wanda's up to something. He knows she's hiding something from him. She's lying. She's not telling him the full truth. And he's beginning to piece together things. And his curiosity is, on the rise. And he wants to know what's going on. So he is like, okay, I need to find out. He sort of touches his colleague. His colleague looking over, and, cracking some jokes. Like, this is not just a joke sort of. And he just touches his head, and then Norm just snaps out of the mind control he seems to be under. And he's like, where am I? What am I doing? How long it's been? He's getting hysterical, He's like asking, where's my family? Where's my sister? I need to call my sister. My dad is sick. She's looking after. I need to get home, And he's starting to lose control. He's getting so hyped, so scared, and so, hysterical. Vision is like, okay, he touches him and brings him back under the mind control. So now you see Vision's beginning to piece together things. And I'm kind of wondering, I'm pretty sure he's going to reach figure it out somehow, with a, pretty much against Wanda's, wishes. And I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen when he figures out the truth. Because he's basically dead, right? Is he back really alive? And at this back to Wanda search for their little dog, and they find Agnes coming out from the bushes, and she's got this little bundle. The dog's wrapped up in a bundle and he's not moving, and she's like, I didn't get to him in time. He got into my azalea bushes. I'm guessing, don't know much about botany, about plants. I'm guessing it's poisonous to dogs. So she's like, I couldn't, save him. Sort of. And the kids are telling Wanda, they're like, Mom, you can bring people back from the dead. You can bring him back. No, he's part of the family. And you said family is forever. Basic gist of it. And she's telling him, see, we cannot take the basic idea she gives them is, you can't take the easy way out. Don't age up now just to escape this. And that's kind of contradicting to what she's basically doing. She's built this reality to escape her grief. And sort of she's trying to teach correct morals to the kids. So this again brings, it brings kind of a doubt that, is Wanda really the one 100% in charge? I'm pretty sure she's pretty much in charge. But is she really controlling the whole thing? And what about the massive boost in power levels? Sure, she was pretty powerful when we saw her in Endgame. I mean, she pretty much took on Thanos. And like there's a conversation between Darcy and Wu and Monica, and they're like, she could have taken on Thanos if he hadn't brought in reinforcements, And the only other person who could have done that would have been Captain Marvel. And this is where Monica, will give we're not talking about Captain Rambo. Like, it looks like there's some animosity there. Now, I don't know. There's a lot has happened between when she has seen Captain Marvel, like 25 years ago when she was a kid, and now. And there seems to be some story there, which I think they will explore further in Captain Marvel 2. But that's for another day. Anyway, Wanda is trying to explain to her kids not to take the easy way out. And Vision comes in and he hugs his boys and he tells them it's okay and all. Then they go back to the house, okay, Wanda and Vision's house. And while they're there, Vision is like, he confronts Wanda. He's like, I talked to Norm, the Norm who isn't under your control. Why are you doing this? What are you doing this? And they kind of like, they get into it. They start having their first real fight. And Wanda's like, she just walks off and you can see she's trying to control by sending the credits up. The credits, the really cartoony, cheesy credits start up. And Wanda is like, oh, no, I don't want to talk about this. Nothing happened. She's trying to brush it off. But Vision's persistent and he follows. And this is the first time we see Vision again, how he is in in Civil War, in Infinity War, how powerful he is. He uses his powers and he levitates, and Wanda is also like, see, I'm doing this for us, and she's also levitating, and they're at a standoff, and then she's saying, can't you see I'm doing this for us, for our family? You're my husband and Billy and Timmy's father. Why do you not see that is what you are? And he's like, I don't know, have any memory of of life before we came to Westview. I don't remember anything about that. What happened? What is the world outside? And she's like, you don't want to go in the world outside, it's better here. I have it under control, let me control it. And then they're back down. She calms Vision down, and Vision, she sits down, and Vision's like, tell me, you have to tell me. And then just as she's about to say, the doorbell rings, and he's like, oh, you did that. You purposely brought in an interruption. And she's like, no, I didn't do that. And this, you think I have control over everything, but you don't know. I didn't want, don't know how this started. So here we get an idea that there are outside forces involved. And I'm guessing they coerced Wanda. Maybe she went to them, in her broken state, or maybe they came to her and offered her solution, maybe to boost her past, to set up this reality. And it's kind of like the monkey paw thing, like what we sort of explore in Wonder Woman 84, sort of like everything has a cost. And we're seeing Wanda's world is beginning to crumble as Vision starts to question her. Now is the important part. There's you hear the doorbell ring, and Wanda goes to answer, and you just see the back of a person's head. Now, I will say there were a lot of rumors of Evan Peters being in WandaVision. Now, I pretty much debunked that. I was pretty thinking, even if Evan Peters is going to be in WandaVision, he is not going to be Quicksilver. He's probably another character, some other character going to come up. But she opens the door, and there's standing Evan Peters, and he's Quicksilver. And the people over at SWORD are looking at this telecast and like, she recast Pietro because Pietro is supposed to be dead. So she's pretty stunned, and Vision is like, who is this? And then he's like, Quicksilver, Pietro is like, you're not going to give your long lost brother a hug, Now this is where stuff gets really exciting for us, fans of the MCU and stuff. Because we know Disney has bought out Fox, and though Kevin Feige has often said that he's got his 5 years planned out, that was 2 years ago, 3 years more, 5 years planned out, and it's not going to be much, X-Men in. They seem to have opened the door to bring in the X-Men. Now, originally, I thought they'd probably reboot the whole X-Men franchise, new actors and stuff, but this sort of, they may be bringing in people. Is Quicksilver going to play a further important role, a more prominent role in this series? Where this leads to, the possibilities are endless, and this one quick cameo in this episode really opens the door. And this is our first introduction to the multiverse. I'm guessing, she did say she can't raise people from the dead. Then again, she did that to Vision. Maybe she really can't raise people from the dead, and because she can't raise Pietro now, she settles for another alternate version of him from another universe and brings him into her reality. This is our first real entry into the multiverse, and it's really exciting. The ways they can go, the possibilities are endless, and I'm dying to see where they take it from here. So on the whole, I really loved this episode. It was it gave me a lot more to think on, a lot more to analyze than the previous episodes, and I enjoyed it for that. What did you think? Did you enjoy this episode as much as I did? Were you freaking out? Now, there were interviews stating where Elizabeth Olsen said that there was a Luke Skywalker, as in Mandalorian, type of cameo in this series, and I keep thinking, okay, Evan Peters is pretty cool. As Quicksilver, it's pretty cool. And I keep wondering, why didn't they bring back Aaron Taylor-Johnson? I'm sure Kevin Feige's got his, reasons. Whatever. I keep wondering, okay, they've brought back Evan Peters, but he's not a Luke Skywalker level cameo, Are they going to bring in more? Maybe Magneto. Who knows? Maybe even Professor X may make in, Patrick Stewart as Professor S, or Ian McKellen, or Michael Fassbender as Magneto. I'm guessing more Magneto because, he is Wanda in the comics and pretty much in the Fox universe. He is Wanda and Pietro's father. Though in the MCU they retconned it sort of. But in the Fox universe, he is their father. And if they brought in Evan Peters as Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men movies, you never know. So I'm really excited for this. I do think maybe it is Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, maybe, but I'm really excited. I don't know if this is the cameo she was talking about or there's going to be an even bigger one further ahead. But with this introduction, this path that they have taken, it opens the possibilities to bring in more characters. I'm just hoping they don't bring in too many characters from, and make it too gimmicky sort of. I'm loving what they've given so far. And also, please, in my previous episodes, I've not touched upon the commercials that play every once in a while. This episode's commercial was on Legos paper towels. Now, as we've come to see, each commercial, sort of has a significance in Wanda's life. Like the first episode was Stark Industries. Now for the Stark Industry toaster. Now Stark Industry was in charge, Tony Stark's weapons were the ones that killed her parents, Wanda and Pietro's parents. So there's that connection. And there's Strucker Watch, which came in the second episode. Strucker was the guy who experimented and, played with the Mind Stone with, Wanda and Pietro and gave them their powers. And then the third episode, we had Hydra soap. Hydra being the government which controls Strucker, which, basically, of course, she used to, sort of help them out. So that there. Lagos refers to the incident that kicked off Captain America Civil War. I know they call it Captain America Civil War. It's pretty much Avengers 2.5. Anyway, the city of Lagos is where she accidentally set off, injured a whole lot of people in a hospital, including Wakandan nationalists, Wakandan citizens. And that's how Civil War, kicks off and the Sokovia Accords are signed and all, which causes the separation between Wanda and Vision, Vision signs the Accords, Wanda is like against it and all that. Each commercial seems to signify a low point in her life. So I'm interested to see where this goes, and what they've given me so far is amazing. They've really achieved the balance well. I want to see how they seem to be promising us a big payoff, and I really hope the payoff is worth it, because if it falls flat, it's going to be a disappointment of the year. Because this has been something I've been waiting for, watching week after week, and I enjoy, and right now I'm like, please let Friday come back again so I can watch the next episode of WandaVision. So and also in interviews, Jack Schaefer, the creator of the show, she has mentioned that, WandaVision does occur immediately after Infinity War. I'm sorry, the events of Endgame. And we do know that Spider-Man Far From Home occurs after the events of WandaVision. Now, there was that post-credit scene. For those of you who have not seen Spider-Man Far From Home, spoiler for that. There's a post-credit scene where J. Jonah Jameson comes over. Where you get J. Jonah Jameson. Now, I have a feeling that is somehow connected to the multiverse, because J. Jonah Jameson, the character who plays J. Jonah Jameson is the character who plays it in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. So I'm guessing that's how the overlap comes. Just the theory for right now. So many theories, so many speculations. Love to hear from you. Want to hear what your ideas are. I love to read these theories and speculations. I try to stay away from spoilers as much as possible, but I like to speculate and theorize with my friends and stuff. So I'd love to hear from you about it. Be sure to hit me down in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Are you enjoying it so far? Do you want to go back to the sitcom? You feel, are you really enjoying it as much as it? This is where it really kicks off, where it really gives you the real MCU feel. And sure, they have told us that we are going to make these series which are going to be like cinematic experiences and all. This is where it gets really cinematic for me, and I'm enjoying it. If WandaVision is this good, I'm dying to see how Loki is. The Loki series is what I'm really looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier. I hope it all comes out well, and if they keep out cranking it out at the quality which they are right now, we're all the more happier for it. We're all the more blessed for it. So while you're here, you can always contact me. I'd love to hear from you simply on Twitter, simply at Mercy_D, on Instagram at Mercy_SD. Be sure to hit to check out the Funny Facebook page, simply at funny.pajamas. And we've got a website, so be sure to check out the website. I put out editorials and reviews on that website, so go check it out. The website address is www.funny-pajamas.com. Pajamas with a Y. And you can, if you want to contact me by email, you can contact me simply on mercy@funny-pajamas.com. Pajamas, need I say it, with a Y. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Love to talk to you. Would love to hear from you. Hit the comment section down below. And we are all friends in film fandom here. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week for the next episode and the breakdown and my theories. And let's see how far my speculations go. So, see you next time. This is Mercy, signing out. Bye, guys. Have a good one.